read this. And this is showing that the 144,000 is bringing in the Gentiles too as well. So it says, Revelation 11, verse 2 through 3, and verse 13. So it says, but the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. So these Gentiles in this case are ones that's persecuting, because it said they should tread the holy city. So it's persecuting Yahuwah's people during this time. And how long is it going to last? It says the next verse, 3.5 years. And I will give my power to 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,203 score days. That's 1,260 days. How many is 1,260 days? How many days is 1,260 days? 3.5 years. These are the last 3.5 years in history. So if we're talking about 2031 is the end, this will begin in 2027. So persecution will begin in 2027, and the Gentiles, spiritual Gentiles, and it's not just talking about literal Gentiles. These are ones that's going out there persecuting Yahushua's people in these last days. These witnesses that's going out, these 144 that's going out. And you go to verse 13, it was interesting in verse 13 of chapter 11. Remember, they killed these 2 witnesses. They killed this 140,000. See, when that scripture we read, those who will be headed for the witness, that's who this group is talking about. And we'll talk about it even more. But they killed them, and then it says they resurrect after 3.5 days and get called up into heaven. This is before Yahushua returns in 2031. They get called up first. They're a group, 140,000 that get called up first. Their reward, they get to heaven early before everybody else because they did a special work. But look what happens in verse 13. It says, in the same hour there was an earthquake. This is after they got called up to heaven. They resurrected, got called up. And look what happens. In the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were frightened and gave glory to Yah of heaven. So because of their death and resurrection, and they extended up, people saw that and wound up giving glory in the last moments. They wound up giving glory to you. And this is one of your favorite verses, John 12:24. Yeah, look what this verse says.
All right, so this John chapter 12, verse 24 will say, verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit.
So what would a quarter of wheat represent? The 144. They died, and because of their death, what happened? Brung much fruit, which means souls. Right. They won souls. People gave glory because of their death, resurrection, and ascension. Just like Yahushua. That's why they follow Yahushua wherever he goes. Like they do this. It's the same thing. They die for him, they resurrect, and they get called up. So you see, they're sent out for the unnatural branches and the natural branches. So when we go back to the verse, when we go back to Revelation 24, when it says, and I saw thrones and them sat upon it, and judgment was given to them, and the souls of them that were beheaded, who is it talking about? The 144 and the apostles. You can see they will be the ones that be judging in that time, helping Yahuwah, with the judgment, because they helped restore Israel. So